Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to the RTG Motor Speedway for race number 3 of 4 on this just this little fun series that it is called the RTG TK Paint Shop mini series, brought to you by Rolling Thunder Gaming. Hello, friends. Carlos Zimmerman here, alongside of me from her home in South Carolina, Jessica Shelton. Jessica, how are you doing this fine Thursday evening?
Well, I'm pretty ramped up waiting to see what they do here because practice has been really interesting and looking forward to calling this one and tomorrow night's series to cap it off. They're having like a 4 little race special event here where they're having the off season right now and looking to see what they can do before All-Star week next week.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be it's just a little fun mini series they threw together in between the seasons. It's always just a fun to watch these guys go out and race. We're just wrapping up happy hour right now, and we'll be getting ready for 151 laps of action around RTG Motor Speedway. Which, folks, if you're unfamiliar with the track, it is a lot like the original layout of Las Vegas Motor Speedway, as they're now going to start gridding. So this is going to be very interesting how these trucks run here tonight. On the pole is Tim Nofsker in that 088. He drew the pole. To his outside is going to be the 62 of Ronald Lucier. And rolling off third will be Chuck McClure. Terry Bombard rolls off fourth. Rolling off fifth will be, waiting for him to pop up here in just a moment.
Fifth will be Robert Balcom. Sixth will be Andre Mangian. Seventh, Chris Elliott in the 9. Dave Nelson in the 13 will start 8th. Ninth place will be the 43 of Richard Martin. 10th, Jim Glad in the 72. 88 of Grant Wesley in the 11th starting position. 12th starting position will be the 143 of Bob Dixon. Dante, which he won the last race, which was race 2 out of 4 at Daytona, and he will be starting in the 84 and 13th. 14th starting spot will be the 711 of John Godfrey. 15th will be Benoit Ford in the 87. And the 97 of Mitch Bombard in the 16th and final starting position.
As these trucks are now going to start rolling off here again, 151 laps. Seems like a lot, but with a short field and with just this track being only a mile and a half, it should be a pretty quick one here tonight, folks. Again, just a little fun little series these guys have thrown together, again, called the RTG TK Paint Shop mini series. It's the Team Crop Paint Shop mini series. Special thanks to those guys. 15 trucks here tonight at RTG Motor Speedway in Detroit, Michigan. Tim Nofsker hoping for a good one tonight. The first 2 winners of this one you mentioned, Dante Ricci winning last week at Daytona, and then at the MNTR Speedway, Robert Bauckham won the mini series season opener.
Yep, and they're rounding turn 3. And this is pretty much a flat track, so with the being as flat as there, we're going to see a little bit of a tire wear probably come into effect, I would imagine, Carlos.
2 times the pit stops tonight, so these guys are going to have to be on their toes when it comes to it. Again, here we go. 151 laps of action here tonight at RTG Motor Speedway. Green flag in the air. Tim Nofsker. A good start here as he'll start to pull away from Ronald Lucier. The battle will be on for that second spot between Lucier and the 17 of Chuck McClure.
Now, I watched them in practice, and looks like they can run anywhere, specifically all over this track. I was watching the 27 of Andre, and he was running the middle line and the bottom line, so I can tell that they can run everywhere, but it seems like they push up quite a bit in the middle of the corner and exit off, so they're going to be handling that little push effect like we've seen in the past, so they have to really be careful when they get side by side. But it looks like they're starting to manage themselves single file for right now, Carlos.
Single file pretty much throughout the field. Tim Nofsker leads lap 1 here tonight at RTG Motor Speedway. And it takes a little bit of a higher line here, so that's going to allow the 62 of Ronald Lucier to close into his bumper a little bit. A little further behind them, got a battle brewing here for the 5th spot. Andre Mangian is actually going to hold off the, I believe that was the 18 of Robert Bauckham, and he's going to lose a few spots here. 1 to Chris Elliott and 1 to Andre.
Well, you got to remember, Robert takes a while to get going. It's all about strategy for Malcolm, and I'm guessing that's probably why he's wondering right now. Pretty much his tire wear specifically, most likely. Now, it's been suggested about Robert Balcom. Balcom almost capped off a back-to-back wins in this little mini series that they're having right now. And even though there was an issue at Daytona where he was in second place with a few laps to go, and he didn't get the victory off of that, unfortunately, after an incident occurred. Robert Balcom, however, is the leader in these little mini series standings right now. He's got 83 points, 3 over the 72 of Jim Gloud, and 4 over Grant Wesley, 6 over Dante, and 5th right now in that series is Tim Knopsker, 7 points back. They do get a point for leading the lap, another point for leading the most laps, and if they win the race, it's a total of 3, which would give them roughly about 47, 48 points overall.
Tim Knopsker still pacing this field. Lucier and Chuck McClure settle into second and third, respectively. Andre Mangian, excuse me, he's up to 4th now with his truck. He's starting to try and catch a little bit of the draft that you get on the back straightaway here at RTG. Try and get around the 17 of Chuck McClure, but it looks like he did not take the right line there, and he'll settle back in line.
Oh, he's getting a little bit of a run off the 4 here. It seems like he enters a little bit higher out, but he's using that. There he goes, passing McClure. It seems like he gets a huge run, but the question I'm wondering now, Carlos, is with him pushing it like he's doing, is he wearing all those tires up? And remember, entry to pit road is really, really, really right away off the 4. And we've seen in practice a couple of these drivers slipping and sliding coming down, trying to get down to 55 miles an hour. So that might be an issue if he uses up all his tires early.
Yeah, and then even worse, you'd flat spot them even more if you were to spin them out. But yeah, look at the 27 go all the way up to the 3rd spot there in that, I believe that's could be a Dodge that he's running behind the 62.
Well, he was up at the top of the board for a while in practice, so I'm not really surprised to see him doing well tonight because he took a long practice session, so he was prepared for the night's race, I would imagine. We were talking about the little series things that they got here for this mini series. They are not really, like we said, there's only 4 races, but they are racing for something. There are prizes on the line, like really nice plaques and things that we've seen on the forums that were posted. That winner, first and second in the standings get choice picks and first 5 picks, and then there's going to be 2 selected drawings that get the other gifts. And from what I could tell for the gifts, Carlos, they were really nice. Got a couple of Earnhardts, Earnhardt and Earnhardt Jr. together, Rusty Wallace, Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin. Really nice plaques from what I saw.
That'll be some interesting prizes for anyone who ends up winning this series. Right now, and I believe that would be sitting in that catbird seat. Win the title. That would be Robert Bauckham, who does have that 3-point lead over Jim Gloud, as you mentioned. It'll be interesting. Whoever picks up a win tonight could definitely put their name into the conversation as the last race of the year coming. Last race of this mini-series, excuse me, coming at RTR Super Speedway next week.
No, it'll be tomorrow.
Oh, it would be tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay.
And I will be broadcasting alongside Anthony McCurry because Carlos, unfortunately, you have a lot of busy scheduling, especially with you going to college now.
Yeah, I'm going back to school now at Sam Houston State, so things are starting to get busy for me. But, I'm still very well involved here at Flatout Racing Network. I will be on a lot of the weekend series that we run. Chris Cup series is wrapping up on wrapping up very soon on the Saturdays, and then the TechHub.tv Cup Series, one of the new groups in iRacing that we welcomed here to the family of FRN. I'll be on with those as well. So
Chuck McClure making the pass on the 9 of Chris Elliott for 4th position here.
That's trading positions because Chris Elliott originally, I think, was able to get around him, and now Chuck McClure was able to get back by him.
Robert Balcom is back here in 7th, still, and Jim Gloud running in at 8th. So Jim hasn't let Robert get too far away from him, at least, and Grant just basically knows that he passed Dave Nelson not too long ago for that position, and they're side by side with Robert trying to get the position now. And Jim's looking to follow right through.
Everyone's starting to settle into their spots. Lap 12 on the board. They come around, it'll be lap 13. You won't miss a thing as we go side by side. Tim Nofsker has been in control since the start. Lap 17 about to go on the board here at RTG Motor Speedway. A lot of action happened under that side-by-side, Jess.
Oh, yeah, we had a three-wide battle going on. We've seen Andre Manjan, who was pushing so hard early on, and we were talking about tire wear and everything, and now he's falling way back. And I'm looking and I'm noticing that there's a lot of these drivers that were up near the top 5, top 10. They're falling back now, and I have to assume that that's tire wear coming into effect, and they're having to back off and take it more careful. They're trying to run single file, but these runs that they're getting, they keep getting the run to try to pass, and they have to back off so much that they just lose a position or even more than one of these points. I mean, I have no idea about the fuel window, but if it's times 2, I should expect that we should see them in like between 2 to 5 laps coming in. And I think based on the chat log here, they're not pitting yet. But Chris Elliott, who was fastest in practice, is way back in 14. Jim Glaude's up there on the high side now, and Andre Magnon's back in 8th. I mean, we've seen a little bit of a lot of cat and mouse game.
Speaking of cat and mouse, we've had a change for the lead. Chuck McClure has just taken the lead from Tim Nofsker, but don't look now. Robert Baucom's going to just slide up in front of the 17 and take that lead just like that. Robert Baucom had a little bit of a sluggish start, but now he rebounds here. Here comes Grant Wesley to the outside.
Remember, like I was mentioning when we were off in a commercial break here, Grant Wesley, if I remember correctly, won the Bare Bones Championship. That was his first time winning the championship in that series, and they run the same mod, and if anyone, Robert and Grant have a good idea what to expect here with this track, and I think I saw someone against the wall back here, riding up against it a little earlier. I'm not sure they made any contact or not. That would have been the 97 of Mitch Bombard. He got really close to the wall there. But there's a couple of these stragglers back here. John Godfrey, Chris Elliott's lost touch with the pack now. And they're going side by side all over the place in the middle of this field, and then they keep going back single file, pushing it really hard to get in there. I mean, what are you expecting, Chris? Are they trying to get their positions jostled for pit road, you think?
That has to be the case. They are trying to just find themselves in good spots. As this is the kind. It's not. This is a track that's not really like Daytona and Talladega, obviously because of the length of it. But you can pit by yourself, and you may be okay. You'll still be a little off pace, but you may be okay. Still good to come with a group of like 3 or 4 with you. So that's what these trucks are going to have to or these drivers of these trucks are going to have to figure out what they want to do. Is we're going to have a battle for fourth here between the 17 of Chuck McClure and the 13 of Dave Melson.
Oh, I just got some information from one of the drivers. Apparently, that they have a their fuel window is about 15 laps left, and I'm like pretty surprised. Apparently, the information is the window is about 36. If the tires can make it that far, because they're wearing.
So about 36 laps, and that's about 13 laps from now. It'll be interesting to see as Robert Bauckham has settled into the lead. Grant Wesley there in the 88 Menards. Chevy, he is settled into second. Tim Knopsker up to third, or back to third. Dave Melson has since held off Chuck McClure as they run fourth and fifth, respectively. Rest of the top 10 right now. Jim Gloud in the 72 Mellow Yellow truck, he's sixth. Ronald Lucier has fallen back to seventh. Andre Monguion, he has fallen back to eighth. Richard Martin running pretty well up here in ninth. And in 10th is Dante Ricci, last week's winner from Daytona.
And speaking of Dante, he is currently second on the fastest lap board, and Chris Elliott is currently leading that list. Andre is third on that list. As Andre gets passed again, he got kicked up to the high side. Now he's falling back even more. I mean, we saw him come up to the front, run top 5, running up in third for a while, and then now you see that he's falling back, and looks like there's a battle back here for a third position now.
Yeah, Dave Melson trying to make a pass here on the AO88 of Tim Knopsker, trying to get that run down the front straightaway, maybe pick up a tiny bit of side draft as they hit the start-finish line, and it should work out for him heading down into 1. See if he's going to be able to carry that run. That could bring the 17 of McClure to him. McClure
got really close to the edge of Tim Knopsker there.
And Knopsker is going to use a little bit of side draft and get a really good run. They're going to go 3 wide down here as they head towards turn number 3. Knopsker trying to clear Melson, and he will. Can he hold off McClure? It looks like he will. So Knopsker benefits, but McClure takes advantage of the mistake by Dave Melson to try and pass the AO88.
And they sell it back to single file, but all this is going behind the 2 leaders are Robert Bauckham and Grant Wesley. They're enjoying the view, pulling away every so slightly. And with another battle here, Ron Luzier and the Richard Martin machine back here. Martin's trying to go by Luzier, but Luzier is battling pretty hard on that outside.
Grant Wesley here looking like he's trying to set up the 018 of Robert Bauckham for a pass. And I'm not sure if it's wise because about 10 laps from now we'll start seeing trucks duck for pit road.
It looks like Knopsker's trying to catch the whip of the draft. It looks like he's closing right back up, and yeah, he's closing back in on Wesley a little bit.
Let's see here as they run down the back straightaway. Just about everybody's still hanging with the group. Mitch Bombard, John Godfrey, and then, like you mentioned, Chris Elliott have lost the pack, but everyone from the leader of Bauckham all the way back to the 143 of Bob Dixon, they are running still with this lead group as they come to the line at lap 28 on the board. That'll give us 124 to go.
And I just want to take a moment right now, Carlos, to send wishes to Tony Fox. He's a member of RTG's group and been here for a long time, and he recently had a stroke, if I'm not mistaken, from what I remember hearing, and he's been doing well, recovering slowly, but from what I've heard, he's back home recovering, and we wish that he gets better soon and he's able to return back, and hopefully he's been keeping up with the broadcast and enjoying every single bit of it.
Yeah, definitely we send our well wishes to him and his family. The unprecedented time that we're in right now and just in the world in general, and just to have something like that happen, definitely not helpful. So yeah, we send our well wishes to him.
And hopefully this race is a little bit entertaining like it has been for the past few weeks for him to enjoy seeing his friends battle while he gets a really good kick out of seeing all the silliness that happens and occurs.
Lap 30 about to go on the board here, closing in on 120 to go this evening from RTG Motor Speedway. Little recap, Tim Nosker, as we've been green this whole time. Tim Nosker led the first half of this 30-lap run, and ever since then, Robert Bauckham in the 18 AutoZone Toyota Tundra, he has been out in front. But Grant Wesley, he is starting to peak as he takes a peek to the outside.
Debris caution is out, apparently. No one wrecked or anything. They just randomly had a caution for debris that wasn't even... I don't know where that came from, but just a random debris caution, Carlos, that just came out. So we know they're going to come down pit road and get all those 4 tires now.
So that'll be our first caution of the day. Doesn't warrant a replay, obviously, because it was a debris caution. So Robert Bauckham, he's your leader. Grant Wesley second, Tim Nosker third, and Chuck McClure fourth, and then Dave Melson round out the top 5. Not sure why Robert Bauckham is... Oh, they're trying to catch the pace.
Yeah. Got to catch the pace truck.
So for the
They're all going to try... Whoa, couple cars back there. Trying to get woed up there. That was the 27 of Andre Manguian. Folks, you're going to have to bear with me on that pronunciation the rest of the night. There's going to be about 10 different variants of that name I'm going to say throughout. But here they come, Jess, all of them. Here they come.
But yeah, they got to be careful getting in and getting out of pit road that they don't make contact if they really want to stay in the running for this thing. So they got to be really careful on pit road. And we're going to see if anyone has a mistake or not. And hopefully it'll be nice to see this little field gets a little bit switched up, don't you agree? It'd be nice to see some people from the back come to the front with a little bit of a strategy plan, and maybe if they got any of that going on. I did find out, Carlos, that the pit for fuel is between 36 to 38 from what I was told, and tires, one of the drivers just told me that the right front was in the yellow, but it was okay to stay pretty well with that. And it looks like Tim Nosker is going to be right there. I don't know, did he beat Grant out? No, he did. Yeah, he did. Nosker beat Grant out.
Yeah, so you saw it there on the pit lane cam. Robert Bauckham did win the race off of pit road, and Tim Nosker moved him up 1 position, moved Grant Wesley back 1, and then McClure and Melson round out the top 5. So that nothing much changed other than the swap between Wesley and Nosker. So this should make for a very interesting restart.
I wonder who's going to come back down and top off. I mean, like we said, we got like a 35 to 38 pit window for fuel, but I'm wondering if some of these guys in the back will come back down to the top off, just to get a little bit more, because some of them are clutching right now on this pace lap going around.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what these guys try to figure out to do. It's a really tough animal. I don't envy them having to manage the fuel windows and stuff like that. It's not like these guys have crew chiefs in R2. I mean, they do, but not really live crew chiefs or spotters. So they don't have someone managing it for them. So them themselves have to manage the track, their own self, the well-being of the truck, the fuel, the tires, and just about everything.
Also, the other thing I want to say is that there's no lap cars, and in the event that we would have a lap down car, I would imagine if they go by standard RTG rules, that the top 2 that would be labeled the first 2 in order of the lap down, they would get the free pass. But we don't really have to worry about that, luckily. So no lap down cars, that's a good thing. Now, I want to get your thoughts on something, Carlos. We saw Andre push it really hard and got up in the top 5, up to 3rd. Do you think he's going to do that again?
You're talking about Dante, right?
No, Andre Mangian, 27.
Oh, Mangian. He's got the fresh rubber on there now, so this will be, I don't know. If he tries to push it again, I don't think it'd be wise, and that's just my opinion as a broadcaster. Because you saw how he just fell off there on the tail end of that run. The pace truck lights are out, and we'll go green at 35 of 151. That'll give us roughly 116 to go. So yeah, if he pushes it here, if he can get himself up front, lead a couple laps, and that would benefit him a little bit. So yeah, it's really hard to call if he's gonna decide to push or if he'll lay off and then let the tire come to him.
We see Ron Lucier up here. He's going to be starting sixth, and he's been a focal point in the Tuesday series. And in the Winston Cup series, he's been doing pretty well in that segment too, championship battle. And we got Grant Wesley up here. We've got race winners like Robert Balcom up here with Tim Knopfsker. Dave Nelson's up here. McClure's up here. I don't know if Andre's going to be able to get around him if he even tries to push it this time by. As they're coming around turn 3 right now, and like you said, we are going green this time. So it'll be funny. It'll be interesting to see how they're going to manage themselves in this run.
I guess Tim Knopfsker beat the 18 off of pit lane. He is going to be the leader here. Watch the 13. He backed up there to try and maybe get a run here on this restart as the 088-18 get us underway. Oh man, Baucom spun the tires. Green flag back in the air. That's going to allow the 88 to slide into second.
Yeah, and Andre, he backed off, and he's going to lose a few spots back here with Dante and Jim Gloud here. But had a really hard check with that fourth gear Richard Martin behind him. Luckily, they didn't have a wreck back here, but 3 wide, it's getting settled out to 2 wide from Lombard and Benoit Ford back here as they go back into 3.
The battle of 88's up at the front. Tim Knopfsker in the 088, Grant Wesley in the 88. Wesley trying to catch him. But it looks like Knopfsker is really, really good on this little short runs because you saw how he fell off towards the end of that last run. When these guys come down, when they have to come down again, it'll be around lap 30, or excuse me, not 30. It'll be around 66, lap 67. So that's going to be the money stop that we're going to be watching for when these guys do come around. But it is a breakaway from the top 3, the pair of 88s and 13 of
Jim Gloud getting around Ron Luzier here, and Ronald comes right in front of Dante. Luckily, Dante let him in, but that could have been a really bad situation there, especially this early on. Looks like McClure's going to dive it a little bit low and get the spot back from Balcom here.
He put that car below the yellow line there on the front straightaway. Of course, not out of bounds here at RTG. Would be out of bounds if we were at Daytona or Talladega, but not the case. So move to 17 P4, trying to bring Jim Gloud with him. We'll see if he gets that run. Whoa, Lucier really had to back out of the gas there, heading into 3. That might have caused him to slip up, but here comes the 27 towards the outside.
Well, remember what we saw last time. We saw Balcom fall back, and he took him a few laps to get his self-situated, and all of a sudden he was up near the front. I'm wondering if he's going to be using that same strategy to take care of his tires and focus into a run and then be up there at the end, because if that's the case, Jim Gloud better watch out, because remember, Jim Gloud is battling Robert Balcom for the lead for that little standings, the championship that they're going at right now. And right now, Jim Gloud's in really good position, but Balcom has that lap lead point, and Balcom's not too far behind Jim Gloud. So I would expect Balcom to start coming back to the front now in probably a few laps after he gets himself settled.
Breakaway at the front now. These guys run really, really well. The 13 trying to set up the 88 of Grant Wesley for a pass. Jim Gloud, though, I think is starting to break free from the clutches of Chuck McClure and the 27 of Andre Mangian to try and run down those guys. As the breakaway of those top 3 isn't going to really last long at a track because Jim Gloud just ran his fastest lap of the race. Last time, right now, he just turned again his fastest lap at 32.39.
And remember, you were talking about the breakaway that happened. Remember, Tim Knopfsker had lost the touch with Grant Wesley and Robert Balcom early on, and all of a sudden Knopfsker was able to reel him back in slowly too. So I'm wondering if Knopfsker is taking that into account, and that's why he's up front trying to push it to get away from him a little bit. Hopefully he's not using too much of his tires by pushing. I mean, we saw what happened when Andre Mangian 27 tried that, and Andre right now himself, he's running in 6th place, so he hasn't really got up there in the top 3, but he is managing to keep himself steady in that position for only 6th. There's a gap between the 5th and 4th. Sorry, Carlos.
No, you're good. The 72 has caught the 13 of Dave Melson. It's actually bringing pretty much everyone back with him. The 17, the 27, the 62, and the 18 all starting to run them down. little tandem here between the 43 of Richard Martin and Dante Ricci in the 84. They're going to be able to come up there as well. Also a car we haven't really talked about tonight in the 10 of Terry Bombard.
Yep, him and Mitch Bombard putting on the event tonight for this series, the little mini series they got, and them issuing this this whole little off season that they got going on. Apparently, they do this every so often, and I mean, this is the first time I've actually been part of it to know about this mini series. So maybe next time I might be part of it. I'm not really sure, but so far it seems like their series that they put together has been really interesting, and with the way they're running tonight, I mean, they're minding themselves really nicely with the really great manners and respect for each other's position right now. Wouldn't you say, Carl?
I would say so. Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. Bombard, he's running 11th right now. His brother, I believe, he is tail end of the field right now in the 15th spot in the 97. Hopefully, can
Falcon's making a comeback here. He's looking underneath Ron Louisier for position.
There you go. The Robert Bauckham truck there, that AutoZone Toyota, makes it back around the 62 of Lucier. That's going to move him P7, I believe. Yes, that would move him P7 as it's single file throughout this field as we are on lap 44 of 151. Do want to take this opportunity, folks, to let y'all know we are not the only series running tonight here on FRN. Got another series happening on the iRacing Sim, the Fuel Racing League, r/Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series, round 4 of 14. They're at Pocono tonight. As we got some good battling in this series, they got some good stuff over there too. A lot of action happening there. They're currently on lap 33 of 125, so they're rolling through. Our colleagues Seth Cole and Sam Dyer, they are on the call for that one, also on our Flatout Racing Network channel. So if you want to do a little bit of simulcast tonight, watch both races at the same time, definitely check them out on YouTube and Facebook. You can catch us only on our YouTube page at Flatout Racing Network.
And for those who are enjoying the RTG series that we bring to you, that we've been bringing to you every week for the past month, pretty much, we will be back tomorrow to cover the RTG Super Speedway Series race that they're doing for race number 4 in this mini series to conclude tomorrow night's racing from the champion. And that'll be broadcasted with Anthony McCurry, and I just saw Richard Martin get the wall coming into the tribal right off the floor. He hit it pretty decently there. And they got a battle going on up here with Jim Glaude and Dave Melson.
Yeah, they were trying to get side by side. Now instead it's Nofsker and Melson battling for the second spot. As it looks like Melson's going to try and dive it here into 3 to try and make the pass. Not able to stick it. He does stick it. Meanwhile, right behind them, Grant Wesley's out in front now. Out of all that, just realized that. Chuck McClure, he's starting to fall back now. Looks like he's used his stuff. As, man, they got some good action happening up here as Dave Melson is cleared, or just about cleared, the 088 for the second spot.
Chuck McClure is coming with Robert Bauckham back here in the 6th and 7th position. Looks like Andre Mangion's trying to get a run here on Jim Glaude, going back and forth. Seems like he gets a little bit of a faster entry than Glaude does, and he has to back off to give him the rim and the space. But looks like he's going to slide up here, and Robert's going to take advantage of this and move him up to another position.
Melson settles into second. Andre, he is he's starting to fall like a rock there in that 27 truck as he's going to fall back in line, I believe, in the 7th position behind the 17. Did I get that right? Wow, I got it right. So he now runs 7th. Lucier is 8th. Richard Martin 9th, and Dante Ricci round out the top 10. Really, the top 10 hasn't changed. They've been changing amongst themselves, but no one has been really to crack it. Terry Bombard, Chris Elliott in the 9, and the 7-11 of John Godfrey trying to do it as the 7-11 actually is going to make a pass here on the 9.
Glaude's stuck up on the high side here. He just lost position to Bauckham and McClure.
Yeah, Glaude starting to fall back as well in that 72 mellow yellow truck. Battle on again for second. Here comes Tim Nofsker back to the inside of the 13 of Dave Melson trying to make that pass.
And Nelson's going to come down and just close the door, and then Grant's going to do the same in front of him. Now, what I'm noticing is we saw the first part of the race, we had Nofsker up near the front, and then Bauckham took over, And now, after Balcom, Oscar went back to the front, and then Grant has it back. It looks like these are the top contenders here. They keep switching it back and forth, and it seems like Novsker is just pushing it a little bit too much in this run, and that's why he's starting to fall back, I would imagine. Because he pushed it out and he pulled away for a little bit, and now they've reeled him back in, and he's kicked it to that high side, and he's starting to fall back as he's trying to manage his tire wear at the same time managed to get himself in line behind McClure, running now in the 5th position.
Balcom trying to make a little bit of comeback. He is up to 3rd. Grant Wesley, he's been in control for the last few laps, running very well. As apologize for the lag there if y'all saw that. As Dave Melson, he's up to 2nd. The closest battle really is back here. The 27 and the 72, a little bit of number inverting between the two, and the 72 is going to win that battle as the 72 will maintain the 6th position.
Yeah, it looks like Andre is starting to fall back a little bit, and he keeps trying to get around the high side of Jim Gloud, but he just can't seem to get there. Jim Gloud has been holding steady in that position, but Robert with his it looks like he's picking him off. It looks like he's back up to 2nd now, and with him battling up there, Jim Gloud, he needs to do something if he's going to gain points. And remember, Grant wasn't too far back in the standings either.
Robert Balcom trying to take the 2nd spot away from Dave Melson. Melson maintaining very well on that outside, but Chuck McClure giving the push to the 18 that he needs, and that is going to allow the 18 at the stripe. Not quite clear yet. Now he's clear of the 13 of Melson, and now McClure is going to try and set up the 18 here for a pass for 2nd.
They're single file all the way back. It seems like the only position it looks like it's under contest is Dave Nelson, who keeps sliding up. It looks like Andre really wants to get by that 72 with Jim Gloud here. Richard Martin's come back up. Now Richard Martin's going to make a move to the inside of Ronald Luzier at the tri-oval. It looks like there's a gap starting to form from, what is that, 6th and 5th place up here. Looks like they're starting to pull away again.
Yeah, that gap's starting to form a little bit. That's between Novsker and this battle between the 72 and the 27. That's basically been happening for the last 5 laps or so. That 27 showing that he's got the speed right now, and the 72 is not allowing him to get around him. The 62 is just laying in the weeds like, all right, what line's going to open up, and am I going to make the good pass or not? As
oh, they almost made contact there off of that.
Wow, that's definitely a move that move out of frustration after finally getting around that 72, and that's going to cost.
Well, with them racing side by side, Carlos, I'm wondering how much tires they've been using, because they're trying to get that position and them holding that bottom line like they're doing. If I'm not mistaken, like with the other tracks, it's times 2 wear. There's a little bit of tire wear in this where we've seen that and they're pushing up. I'm wondering if the bottom is causing them they're running the bottom the way they are. I mean, they might be wearing their tires out even more, trying to hold that bottom all the way through like they were doing going side by side for like those 2 laps.
Yeah, you may be right in that. The wear's starting to go out. The pit stop's looking to be less than 10 laps away. Grant Wesley continues to just pace this field. Been leading for about the last 10, 12 laps or so. Robert Balcom's back to 2nd. Chuck McClure 3rd. Dave Melson 4th, and Tim Novsker is 5th. A little bit of a man that's on an island of his own. He's got a good, solid, about 5-car length gap in front and behind him, with the McClure or Melson's machine in front of him and the 27 behind him. So he's settled into a good spot.
Oh, looks like Richard Martin's going to make a move to the inside of Jim Gloud. It looks like there's a battle for the lead up there.
Yes, battle for the lead. Robert Balcom trying to get the lead away from Grant Wesley. Chevy versus Toyota. Who wins? Chuck McClure trying to pick a line to go with as well, as he's gotten around Melson for 3rd. They're going to still be side by side as they head through 3 and 4. Move the 18 back to the front. The battle will become for 2nd between the 88 and 17.
We're on lap 59 now, aren't we? And that looks like there's a battle going on for that 3rd position. With them running the bottom the way they are, I'm just wondering how much tire wear they're using trying to get by people on that bottom. And then you've got Grant kicked all the way up to the high side like he was. He's starting to fall back as well now.
Robert Balcom, he has reassumed the lead. He hopes to hold it there, as if As green flag pit stops, they are right around the corner. We'll take you side by side one more time. You're watching Rolling Thunder Gaming on the Flatout Racing Network. Pit stops soon to be getting underway here from RTG Motor Speedway in Detroit, Michigan. Carlos Zimmerman alongside of me. Jessica Shelton bringing you the action tonight. This third race of just 4 races in the Team Crop Paintshop mini-series presented by Rolling Thunder Gaming. Robert Bauckham, he has been the class of the field. He is up at the front now as Grant Wesley, another man who's been class of the field. He's second, Chuck McClure third, Dave Nelson fourth, and Andre Mangian, he is fifth.
Well, we saw variant pitch strategies a moment ago, Carlos, with a few of them coming in early. I'm wondering when, if any at all point in time, these other leaders are going to be coming in, whether they're going to just run it all the way out, or whether they're going to come in and pit and stick strategy with them too.
Battle again for the lead. Here comes Grant Wesley to the inside of the 18 of Robert Bauckham, trying to get that run. Doesn't really have a lot of help behind him. That's the thing that may not benefit him here. Whoa, Robert Bauckham makes the crossover move, but didn't have enough momentum, so keep the 88 out in front, as we are now on lap 65 of 151, inside 100 to go.
John Godfrey's leaving pit road currently right now in the 7-Eleven truck.
It's looking like about the top 7 or 8 have not come down to pit, all the way back to Dante Ricci in that 7th spot, so it's going to be interesting when these guys decide to come down. We're almost to that lap 66 mark, which is about...
And Nelson just peeled off to come down pit road.
Scroll back here and see who those were. That is the 13 of Dave Melson. Looks like he is a lone man in coming down into the pits, as everyone else still out there on the racetrack. Things are starting to spread out here. It looks like maybe the 27 might be making a motion to the pits as he's backed off of these guys. Actually, it's going to be the 17. No, everybody. It's everybody. Whoa, a little bit of... Whoa, man, the 27 really had to lock it up. Coming in, we'll see if he may get nabbed with pit speed penalties. Same with the 18 of Robert Bauckham, as the 13's just now getting away in the pits, as Grant Wesley's still out in front.
Grant Wesley's been able to hold on to that lead for a while. I'm wondering when Tim Knopfler is going to come back up and challenge him, or at least Robert Bauckham will.
You see Bauckham, the 17, he's in the pits, 27 here. We'll see who's going to be able to get out of the pits amongst these guys. Likely to assume the lead would be these guys if they... Whoever comes out first, right, left side's up now on the 18, and he is out and away. 27's out and away, and it looks like the 18's going to beat the 17 out of the pits, so that could be your leader that you're looking at. Knopfler's still out on the racetrack. I believe the 88, he is now in the pits too, Jess.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they manage themselves pretty well, I'm sure this is going to cycle back around to having Bauckham and Novsker, and I'm sure Novsker will get back up good because if we saw his pit stops earlier during the caution that we had, he was able to gain another spot, remember? And if that's the case, then he should gain a little bit of time on these guys and be back up in the hunt in the top three. I expect Grant Wesley to probably cycle around back as the leader when all these pit stops have occurred. I think I just saw him leaving pit road right now. Not sure if that was him or not, though.
Yeah, the 88, he is back out onto the racing surface. He'll slide up in front of traffic here as the 17 is going to duck to the inside. That is a battle for position, so there you go. Robert Bauckham, I think when you come around here, he'll cycle out as the race leader, waiting for him to catch the line here. As he hits the line, no, he's fifth. Who's the leader? Oh, just missed him. Actually, no, that's Tim Novsker. He's third. I guess the leader was Richard Martin, and then Ron and Chris Elliott. They were first and second. So the lead, I believe, is going to cycle around to the 088. Is he?
Richard Martin's in pit road right now, and he was cycled as the leader last time by.
I believe it would be the 88 right now because he was third.
Well, Bauckham just picked up the 4, so the cycle is almost over.
Waiting to see here. What I don't believe.
Well, I mean, Novsker's got third right now, and that pit stop, I believe, just gave him a huge advantage, especially with him having the first stop.
So Tim Novsker should cycle around here as the leader. At 088 Chevy Silverado as he hits the line. Oh my goodness, there you go. He is the leader. And then it's a hornet's nest back here. Robert Bauckham. Jim Gloud, a good rebound for him. He's now battling Bauckham for second. Couldn't quite maintain his line. He's going to lose more spots. Chuck McClure, he's fourth. Grant Wesley's fifth. Sixth is Andre Manguion. Seventh will be Dante Ricci. Eighth, Ronald Lucier. Ninth, Dave Melson. Not a good pit stop for him. And Terry Bombard rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, again, nice little group here with Andre, Grant, Jim, and Chuck with Robert. They're able to hold themselves together. They're trying to run down the 088 of Tim Novsker, who's way up front. But I'm wondering we've seen that the draft comes into play. They'll catch him eventually. But I'm just wondering how easy Novsker's taking it right now with those tires.
He entered into that corner about 166. I believe the guys behind him, that if they form a train here, they're going to catch him within the next 5 laps, and that's what they need to do. If they start getting side by side, that's what Novsker will love to see, but it looks like they got the idea that I just conveyed out there, and they'll start catching that 088 of Novsker as Bauckham leads this little pack of 5 or 6 cars. And here they come, the 088, starting to lose a little bit of ground here, running all by himself. That's the danger of having it. He'll lead another lap there. Not sure if he's going to lead the one that's next time by.
And we see Andre. He's back up here in 5th, so I wonder if he's pushed it up here again, or whether he's just managing himself this time. It looks like he's getting a run on Grant. Grant went up a little bit higher, but Andre's not going to look into the inside to take advantage of that, which is pretty good. That's pretty smart to stay single file for right now, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, no, the goal right now, keep it single file as we are just at the halfway point next time by. Wow.
Yeah, 151 laps, and we're right now on lap 75, so that's pretty impressive. We only have 1 caution, and that was for a debris caution. Every one of these guys are still running. No retirees yet or lap down cars, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, because
actually there is 1 car lap down, and that would be Mitch in the 97. But you know, the looks like the top 7 are separated for about almost like a second back of the leader of Tim and Oscar, and looks like there's a 3-second back for the other drivers are Ron Legier, Dave Mellison, Terry Bombard. John Godfrey's back in 8 seconds back and almost 9 seconds now, and Richard Martin is 12 and a half back with Chris Elliott running 13 seconds back. And then you got Bob Dixon and Benoit Plard battling around for the 14th position, 21 back.
Because the 088 is now going to get freight trained here by just about everyone in this group. Move the 18 of Robert Bauckham out in front again.
There's a battle here. It looks like Tim Novsky's caught up to the high side. Andre's getting around him right now.
Settle it back out, single file. Tim Novsker falls all the way back to 5th. This pack of about 7 cars. Then you go to a 4-car pack back here. Ronald Lucier, Dave Melson, Terry Bombard, and the lap machine of Mitch Bombard.
Looks like Grant's making a move for 2nd place here. And remember what we saw? We saw Tim Novsker fall back a little earlier, and then he came back to the front. He just is now starting to fall back. He fell back to 5th place at the line that time behind Andre.
So the 88, he reassumes the 2nd place. I do want to point out something about that 2nd pack. They are slowly starting to reel in that lead pack of 8. Here comes the 88 to the inside of Robert Bauckham now to try and make that pass once again. 18's been so good on that outside through the corners. Let's see if the 17 will provide the help the 88 needs. He bounces in between lines. He's going to take it 3 wide as they head down the back straightaway, but he'll think better of it.
I'm just in awe watching this, Carlos. They're running side by side like this, and they're just. I'm surprised that they're able to hold themselves the way they are, and they haven't had any issues. We saw almost a couple of moments of contact earlier, but they've been managing themselves really nicely this whole race.
Yeah, they've done very well in this race. No one has really got into each other. A little bit of a scare with the 27 and the 72, but that's about it. As everyone has just been able to keep it clean, we hit the line. It'll be about 70 laps to go next time by.
I mean, this is like one of the best series we've had, Carlos, where they're managing themselves P's and Q's. It reminds me of the North Wilkesboro race where they were wearing their stuff down and everything, and they had a nice run the whole time. And it looks like Robert Balcom's coming back for the lead. He's not going to take 2nd and sit there for the whole race. He's going to go back up to the front. He's wanting to get these bonus points, especially for leading the most laps here to get that extra bonus point. But it looks like it's going to be almost 3 wide now as Chuck McClure's coming into this.
Oh, the 17 got a little bit loose there through the middle portion of the corner, and so he had to lift on corner exit. So the 17 is going to try and maintain it. Watch that 27 of Andre Mangian. He might try to make a move here on any of these guys. Try and take the lead or take the spot away and get closer to that lead, but it looks like he'll go to the high side to help the 88.
Looks like McClure might actually have the advantage going into this corner, though, over Andre. And he's going to try to battle it back with Grant. And now Andre's going to lose another spot to Dante. Dante sneaks his way back in there.
Yeah, Dante. First time we've really seen him up here near the front. He makes his first appearance inside the top 5 today. As this pack was once 7 trucks, it's basically become a pack of 5. Tim Novsker, he's 6th. Jim Glaude, 7th. Ronald Lucier, 8th. Dave Melson, 9th. Terry Bombard, 10th. All within striking distance of each other. If those guys can get gathered up, should be able to run down this pack here, especially as the run continues, even though they have that tire wear fall off to worry about.
Yeah, where John Godfrey is, there's a pack of 3 by themselves there, and then Mitch Bombard's running by himself pretty much a little way behind. He's running right behind his he's running right behind Kerry. Dave Melson is just barely hanging on to the pack where Jim Glaude is, and Jim Glaude's been kicked up to the high side. Jim Glaude's continuing to fall down with Tim Novsker, and Novsker's back to the inside. They're trying to get themselves sorted back up for another run here, and I don't know. Novsker's fallen off pretty big since the start of this little run when they caught him, Carlos. So I don't know what to expect here.
I really think that fall off is really starting to come into play. Jess, I want to try something.
Yeah.
We're at a point of this race where we're not quite to that pit run again, so we've got a little bit of time to fill. Why don't we do something on the coin here, a classic FRN, crank it up. Lap 89 about to go back onto the board here from RTG Motor Speedway in Detroit, Michigan. Carlos Zimmerman, Jessica Shelton bringing you the action tonight on the Flatout Racing Network YouTube page, as Robert Bauckham and the 88 of Grant Wesley starting to form a little bit of breakaway from the third place car of Andre Mongia.
We've seen a lot of cat and mouse here back and forth with Andre. Andre, early on in this run, he was way up there, able to battle for top 5. Then he fell back by pushing it really hard. And, ever since that first pit stop happened after that debris caution that we have for the only caution in this race, it seems like Andre's managed himself pretty nicely, back up in the top 5 and looking for more. But looking back here, Carlos, we got the 088 of Tim Nosger. He settled back in 8th place. He just has not been able to rebound and capitalize and catch back up to these guys. And he was leading a pretty decent amount with Robert and Grant earlier on in this run. And ever since that's happened, he's fallen off the pace, fallen back. And I don't know if he's used up all of his stuff or not. Because remember, early on in the run, he pulled away. And then they ran him back down, kicked him up to the high side, and he just fell like a rock in the back.
And it's a tough break for that driver. He led a good amount of this race so far, about 30 or so laps.
Grant looking to the lead for Robert Bauckham here in turn 3.
Here comes Grant Wesley. Here's to the inside of Bauckham. I have really not been able to see many passes made when on a leader that wasn't struggling at 88. The 88 and the 18, they've been strong today at the line, a drag race, but the 18 leads the lap by half a car length. As the 27 of Andre Mongian, he waits in the weeds as well to try and figure out what line's going to open up.
Robert is keeping Grant pinched down on that bottom. That's going to cause a little bit more wear for Grant. And Grant's going to have to be careful in these corners not to push up too much to hit Robert. So they got to be really careful here in these corners. It looks like Robert's backing off a little bit to give him a little bit more of a runoff speed here. So we really don't see this much anywhere else that we've broadcasted in the past, so it's really good to see them manage themselves the way they are, giving each other room and respect for one another, careful. And we have a wreck. Someone's hit the inside pit wall here. It's Terry Bombard.
The 10 of Terry Bombard here on the edge of pit lane. You see the 7-Eleven pitting there, and Bombard has pretty much... I believe he has parked it for the race tonight. Big time trouble for that machine.
I was about to mention that there was a couple of cars coming on pit road, or trucks coming on pit road. Chuck McClure was one of them, and John Godfrey was starting to slow down. And all of a sudden, I saw the vehicle of Bombard go flying into the pit wall. That's a bad issue here. We were talking about that coming on pit road, how it's slick and how they got to manage to get down to 55 miles an hour from running about 160 to 170 almost on these straightaways, Carlos. So very difficult and tricky pit road to get down.
There is no caution for that incident. I'm interested why the 17 came down to pit, as he pitted around lap 66, 67. So maybe
Well,
short.
I'm wondering if he was one of the early ones that last run, because remember there was a few of them that came down real early. They were playing cat and mouse, remember? Some of them were staying out, and some of them came out way earlier than normal. And I'm wondering if Chuck McClure was one of those early birds that came in. And if he wasn't, I'm wondering if he's trying to pull a strategy that they pulled earlier on. I'm wondering if he's expecting there's going to be a caution. Looks like Grant's slowing down with his speed, so he might be in pit road very shortly too. We got lap 96 on the board now, starting on lap 96 here, Carlos. 95 down, so I'm wondering what our fuel window is here.
Well, if we're looking at it, it should be within the next 5 laps. We'll see these leaders come into the pit. Wesley out in front, Robert Bauckham second, Andre Mangion third, Dante Ricci up to fourth. Everybody else so far is either off the pace or is in the pits. You see the 62 of Lucier, the only truck in the pits right now. Because here comes the 18 of Robert Bauckham.
And looks like Tim Noster's come down to pit already. Dave Nelson, Jim Glau, they're all lapped down at this moment. We've only showing 9 cars on the lap, but I'm sure we're going to cycle around when they get all done. Now, I'm wondering if Tim Noster's going to be able to get the lead back like we saw beforehand. I'm wondering if that's the strategy here. Pit early, grab the lead, and try to pull away and try to hold on. Oh, here comes Grant Wesley.
Yep, here comes the 88 and the 84 of Dante Ricci. So that's going to hand the lead over to Andre Mangion for the time being. We're going to watch these guys as they come down. See how their pit stops go. Robert Bauckham, he is out and away from his stop. Trying to get back to the 88. There he is. Slides into his stall. Did he overshoot it? No, he got it.
No, he's getting tires on the right sides right now. Now, I'm wondering something here, Carlos. It's popping into my mind. Do you think Andre stayed out to lead a lap, or do you think Andre stayed out because he was worried about slamming in the back of someone coming into pit road? I mean, sometimes you have to make that decision whether to stay out an extra lap so you don't have an issue on pit road wrecking someone.
That could be a potential factor. As you see the 17, he's up on the racing surface. The 88 returning to the racetrack. We're going to stick with the 88 here to see where he comes around in the cycle, because I believe they were the last couple of cars to come down.
Andre is on pit road. He is taking his tires in service currently right now, so this might hand the lead back over to, it looks like, I'm not sure about Richard Martin. Richard Martin might grab the lead here along with Chris Elliott once they just came in and I haven't been able to see him. No, Chris Elliott is still on the track along with Richard Martin coming into off of 4 right now. They're going to stay out another lap.
Yeah, Richard Martin's right there. I'm trying to find. Yeah, Richard Martin is your current leader on the live scoring right now. Possibly hoping for a caution to come out so that he's able to. Well, actually, I don't think a caution would benefit him here as we're in.
No, everyone's back on the lead lap right now except for John Godfrey and Mitch Bombard.
The 43 and the 9, couple cars that have been straggling towards the back for a lot of tonight. We're going to see if they both will be coming down here. They should.
No, they're going to stay out another lap.
Wow.
They're really taking a risk here on those tires and fuel.
And the thing is, Chuck McClure, who's third, he is way in turn 3. You see Benoit Plord, Mitch Bombard, and others in the pits right now. These guys, they're in turns 1 and 2 with the guys that are in 3rd and 4th on the front stretch. Be interesting what they decide to do
Chris
here.
Chris Elliott's going to make a move to the inside of Richard Martin here.
Chris Elliott and his Toyota to the inside, maybe trying to lead a lap here on the 43 and get a nice bonus point added. And yeah, they're going to stay out again as the 43 was able to get a bonus point, and now the 9 of Chris Elliott, the Doritos Toyota, will get the bonus point as well. That is now 50 laps to go.
Back here at the back right now, not too far back, is Dante in the 84. He's right behind Grant Wesley, Chuck McClure, and Robert Bauckham. Bauckham has gotten around McClure now, and they're at the line. They're about to go in turn 1. So they're slowly reeling those top 2 in with these fresh tires. They need, I mean, I don't know if it would be smart to stay out and just run them out, or to go ahead and just come on in and count your losses and get back out there and still recycle. But I'm wondering if you were right. Maybe they're hoping for a caution.
And they're going to keep it out there, are the 9 and the 43 for the time being. Meanwhile, Benoit Plord still in the pits trying to get some stuff repaired, I guess.
I want to point out something here. Richard Martin has backed it so far down in these corners here. He's going about 100. And it looks like out there, Richard Martin's pitting, but Chris Elliott's going to stay out another lap.
It's a bold strategy out of the 9. Trying to possibly maybe play a potential strategy further on. I don't remember the last time he came down to pit.
Chris Elliott is running about 138 miles an hour in these corners, and you know them. The pack is running a lot faster in these corners. They got fresh tires. They're going to run them down. So if it were me, I'd go ahead and pit, get those fresh tires, and cycle in, because the longer you stay out, by the time they catch you to pit, what's going to happen is when you go back out there on that track, you know, you're going to lose more time. If you were to have that huge gap, come in and pit and come back out, you might get lucky and get close to the pack when it cycles around. Richard Martin is now out of pit road.
Robert Bauckham, he is going to be your new leader on the live scoring as Chris Elliott has pitted. Grant Wesley is second, Dante Ricci third, Chuck McClure fourth. And then you got to go a little further back. Tim Knopsker is fifth, Dave Melson sixth, Andre Munguion seventh, Ronald Lucier eighth, Jim Gloud ninth. And then you got to get it around here to Richard Martin, who is currently in the 10th spot as I believe the 9 is just now leaving the pits. And the 18 will assume the race lead officially here with nearing 45 to go.
Yep, Dante is right behind Grant and Robert Bauckham, who's now the leader. And yep, here comes Chris Elliott. He's going off the road. It's going to be interesting to see if that's going to hurt him in the long run or if it's going to benefit him, because he's going to come right out with his buddy Richard Martin. And we saw them; they were out for a while. So I wonder how long they can make it on this run. 30. Remember, we're talking about like 30 somewhat laps, right? So 35 laps. They can come in about 140 roughly. I would imagine around between 138 and 140 is probably when they're going to come back in if they're running all the way out, Carlos.
Well, if they pit before this last pit stop around the lap 67, 68 mark, Chris Elliott stretched it 38 laps. That would get him to about lap 145, so it would not get him to the finish. So then again, he could try to just maybe.
Well, what I'm thinking is he might forego 4 tires. He might just take 2 tires and try to give up a little bit more fuel, because he'll have to take less fuel than what the others will have to do. But I'm wondering if 2 tires would be more, worth it. I would come in and take 4 tires. I wouldn't chance that, would you?
I don't know. It's this is just a little mini series, so high risk, high reward moves will be more of a premium in this series. But we'll see how that plays out. Robert Bauckham, he has resumed the race lead. Grant Wesley second, Dante Ricci third, Chuck McClure fourth, and then all the way back in fifth now is Andre Munguion. We'll step side by side. A message from Shorebird Racing Graphics, the Racing Corps, and Rapid Fired Pizza. You're watching the Rolling Thunder Gaming Team Crowd Paint Shop Series. Tonight, race 3 on the year at the RTG Motor Speedway here on the Flatout Racing Network. Lap 113 now on the board, just inside 40 laps to go here tonight. Race 3 on the 4-race short season of the Team Crowd Paintshop Mini Series. Carlos Zimmerman, Jessica Shelton, still with you, bringing this action tonight. Of course, you got the Fuel Racing League bringing their race also tonight. The R/Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series race round 4 of 14 from Pocono. They're currently on lap 86, so they're getting down to the nitty-gritty of their race as well. As out in front of that race right now is the 76 of Welker. So if you're watching both, we're glad to have you here tonight on the Flatout Racing Network. Our little doubleheader action here. One race on the NR Sim and then one race on the iRacing Sim.
I do want to point out here that with Robert Balcom leading again along with Grant Wesley running second here, I'm looking at the point situation coming into this for this race here. Like we were saying, Balcom was leading the standings. Jim Glatt was 3 back, Grant Wesley was 4 back, and Dante, he was running 6 back, Tim Nosker 7 back. Now, Wiley Coate is not here in this field tonight, so I imagine, you know, he's going to obviously drop out of this group because the rules state that you have to run every single race in order to be eligible. You can't randomly race second race or randomly the third race or randomly the fourth race. You have to race every single race to be in this thing. So a lot of these drivers are going to be eliminated, and we're going to come down to, like, I think about 15 or 16 drivers that are going to be running probably tomorrow for this last little run. You know, they've been keeping it really nice and careful this whole race, Carlos. So if they don't get really aggressive at the end, I'm wondering how aggressive they'll be tomorrow night to try to win that last race.
Oh no, the aggression level is going to be way through the roof tomorrow night. I'm sure you and Anthony, you're going to really enjoy that race tomorrow night. That's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, again, here on the Flatout Racing Network tomorrow night, same time, same great channel, as Robert Baucom still out in front. He's got 2 challengers right now. We still got another round of pit stops to come, but his 2 challengers right now, the 88 of Grant Wesley, and then the 84 Dante Ricci, who was quiet earlier on, Jess, but he has come to life here in the last half of this race.
Now I'm watching Chuck McClure back here. He's about to give a position up here, or at least a spot on the track to the 27 of Andre. What I'm noticing is Chuck is starting to really get slower in these corners, so I'm wondering if he's trying to conserve tires or if he's trying to be prepared for fuel. I'm not sure, because remember, he was one of the first ones to pit last time by. So I'm sure his tires are pretty much more worn than Grant Wesley and Robert Balcom and the leaders up there. I mean, I don't know whether he's trying to save what he's got or whether he's not clutching. He might be half throttling in the corners to save a little bit of fuel, but it seems to me like he keeps running that middle to bottom. That's not where you want to run if you're trying to save tires.
Yeah, the 18 here and the 88 still running up front. You know, I'm going to pose an interesting thing to you. Maybe, what if the 17 were to short pit? If he came down and pit right now, he would be good all the way to the end of this thing. If he were to do that, it would be a pretty bold move out of that driver to make that kind of strategy move like that if he were to just short pit right now.
I mean, it's a good idea and a good strategy thought process, but I'm getting information that the 43 of Richard Martin is apparently pitting this time.
Ooh.
From what I just saw pop up in the chat box here.
There he is, the 43. The problem, that's going to bring me to the next point. The problem of him short pitting.
Let me finish answering your question since Richard was the one that came in here. I don't know. You're saying would it be wise to come into short pit, right? So you can go the rest of the way. I honestly don't know how much of an effect that would be, because by the time the main group that are basically dominating up there with Grant, Robert, Dante, Andre, these guys, when they pit and they come back out, you're on worn tires. You're completely worn, and they're going to be running you down. So I don't know, like you said earlier, risk versus reward. So I don't know.
And that's the thing you got to think about. I watched Richard Martin pit stop. Looks like it was just a gas and go for the 43 Chevrolet of Richard Martin, so that's going to be something to keep an eye on. I don't know how many laps exactly he's down now because of that, but we'll have to see. As Robert Bauckham and Grant Leslie still leading this field inside 30 to go.
And there, John Godfrey just came down pit road, but he's been back in the 11th as well. He's been struggling all race long to be with the pack. So Dave Mellison's down pit road now as well, Carlos. So we're seeing some of these guys starting to pit now. I just don't. If it were me, I'd probably try to stay on. Grant West is going to make a move for the lead right now. Robert Bauckham. It seems like every time we get near these pit stops, Grant likes to get that lead, and I believe this is a strategy on Grant to get that lead coming down pit road. Therefore, if Robert and him do pit on the same lap or one lap apart, Grant would have that advantage. I think that's what Grant's trying to do, set himself up in position to lead. Because it looks like the lap times are starting to fall off. The speed on Robert Balcom's starting to slow down in the corners, Carlos.
Yeah, Bauckham starting to maybe lose a little bit of that advantage that he had throughout the majority of this race. And then, of course, Grant Leslie.
Oh, he's coming down pit road.
There comes the 18. Huh.
It looked like he was going to stay out, and then I heard him downshift to second gear, and the last second he turned to left. I don't know if Grant was expecting that or not at the last second. Well, they have been posting. Dante's pitting as well. So it might just have been lack of observation on my end to see that in the chat box. I try not to look at the chat box too much.
No, you're fine. As the 27, he joins the 18 in the pits. I'm seeing here Robert Bauckham.
Grant's coming in.
Put Wesley's 4 tires.
Jim Gloud, who was running up near the front a little bit, he's in getting his service down. I don't know. This might be a really good, interesting strategy by Richard Martin now, because he just pit, and I don't know if he was a lap down prior to coming down to pit road.
ZV88 now getting his service. He's got 2 tires up there. Let's see. Does he go forward? Definitely
Chuck McClure is leaving pit road in the 17 truck. Andre just got back up on the truck, and track in the 27 truck. I apologize for stuttering there. Jim Gloud's now merging in with the 72 Mellow Yellow scheme.
This is the guy we're watching, though, Grant Wesley, as we're closing in on 25 laps to go this evening from RTG Motor Speedway. Let's see, Robert Bauckham just went by him as the 88 and the 84 come off.
Bauckham's going to be your leader.
Yeah, that's right. He's going to be our leader, but the thing is, he's all by himself. I know that truck has got great speed. He's one of the fastest cars tonight.
Bob Dixon's coming down pit road to finish his cycle.
So he hits the line there, second on the telemetry. I'm trying to find who could potentially be our leader. It's again the 9 of Chris Elliott.
And Elliott's going in turn 3 right now. Bauckham, however, in front of Chris Elliott, though, is Richard Martin. Benoit Port's coming on pit road at this moment. Bob Dixon's getting service, and he'll be down and away. Knopfsker, I want to point this out. It's a Pulsar Knopfsker who was up front and fell back, then up front and fell back. We saw that he was able to gain a little bit of speed, pull away, and then he went to the high side and just dropped back. Ever since that time when he did pull away, went to the high side and dropped back, Carlos, he has not recovered. He's all the way back in 10th right now. Might be 9th at the line. Yep, it's 9th at the line for scoring update. And he's going into turn 1. He's about to come off for turn 2 right now. So he has fallen way off after all that. So maybe he's banking on a caution.
Yeah, tough break for him as the 9 continues to lead. It's currently in turn 1 right now. There is the 18 of Robert Bauckham. He is starting to slowly run him down. He just jumped out of our screen there.
Yeah, those fresh tires that the 18 of Bauckham and Grant have, and Dante, they're going to be running down that 9 real quickly. And then if I were the 9, I'd go ahead and get out of the way and pit right now and try to save what I can.
They hit the line. It'll be 22 laps to go. Robert Bauckham, Grant Wesley, Dante Ricci, they are all right there. Put a blanket over what is eventually going to be your top 3. Gotta go way further back till you get to the Andre Mangian machine, who's currently in the 4th spot.
I mean, this is just for fun. They're not. This isn't for like a big series championship or anything. So it's good to see that they're actually enjoying themselves, giving their P's and Q's. And this is what it's all about with this game. Not taking it too serious, enjoying yourself. Yeah, there's a prize on the line, but these guys aren't running over each other trying to get anything. They're just sitting there having a good time, having fun, and themselves on the track. That's what we like to see, isn't it, Carlos?
Yeah, this is definitely what you love to see. Just some good, solid racing. There's been not a single caution tonight due to an accident. I know the field was shortened 15 drivers, but there is that's the thing. There has been just clean racing throughout. A couple close calls, but that's it. The 18 of Robert Bakken with 20 to go. He has reassumed the lead, and he's got the 88 and 84 with him as they head by lap traffic.
These guys, they've been racing together and around each other for so long. That's the thing about this group over here. You have to be over 18 to race, which means you have to have a level of maturity, respect, responsibility for your actions, and they show that they have that here. That's why they're here. That's why they're able to sit here and enjoy themselves. People who are lapped down, who are pretty much out of it, they're sitting out there running around, enjoying themselves and the conversation, happening in TeamSpeak and just enjoying themselves. And you don't see that a lot with the upcoming leagues that that we've been a part of. They get mad, they leave, etc. But this group has been around since I believe 2005, if I'm not mistaken, and they're already past their 50th season on almost every single series that they've done, the Super Speedway Series, Barebone Series, etc. So they know what they're doing, and it proves tonight that they do know what they're doing, and it's good that their policies of after all this time, Carlos has been able to reflect. As we see, Grant's dogging the 18. He was really, really right there at him. So if Balkan makes one little move, Grant's going to be there at him.
Yeah, that's the thing at this kind of track. A 1.5 mile course based off of the old Las Vegas configuration. You make one little mistake, you are going to pay for it, and the 88 is ready to pounce. It's down there at the line, a lap 135 now on the board, 17 laps to go, and I'm just loving how, as here comes the 88 trying to make a move to the outside, didn't work.
Dante's creeping in a little bit while they're battling. Dante's able to seem to get a run in these entries of the corner. Now here comes Grant for the lead.
88 makes the move to the inside of the 18 of Robert Balkan to try and take the lead back. That could be the move of the race if he's able to clear him, and now he will. The line 16 to go, and the 88 of Grant Wesley is back in front in that Menard
I don't think Robert's done with him yet. I think Robert's got a little bit of fight. Here he comes back to the inside. He's going to do a crossover going right here in the turn one. He wants to get 2 out of 3 at least here on this series that they got going on.
If he does that, that could be a potential.
Here comes Dante.
Yeah, Dante, he's creeping into this too, so don't count him out. He was our winner last week, or yesterday, excuse me, from Daytona. So he would love to go 2 of 3 and put his name into the hat, as he is 6 points behind Bakum. A win would not hurt him in the slightest and could set things up for him tomorrow night. This is going to be really a 3-horse race.
Carlos, where is Grant and Balcom at right now? Where on the track?
First and second.
Yeah, I mean, where at on the track specifically? Turn 1, 2, 3, 4, where?
Turn 3.
Well, Andre Mangyan is running in 4th place, and he's just now coming into turn 3. So there is a big gap back for the rest of the field back here. So at this moment, unless something drastic happens or a caution randomly bunches these guys back up, you're looking at probably the top 3 that's going to get this, between Dante, Robert, and Grant. I mean, Dante's just sitting there enjoying out the view, just sitting there watching these guys battle. So I think, honestly, Dante's in the best position right now. Don't you agree?
Yeah, he's really, he could definitely set both of these guys up for a pass when it gets down to the nitty-gritty of this thing. So we're closing in on 10 laps to go. 18 of Robert Bakum back out in front, trying to hold off the 88 of Grant Wesley and the 84 of Dante Ricci.
And remember what we said about Chris Elliott having to come in right near the end of this? He just said he was coming in the pit.
Wow.
So our ideal was right about what time he was coming in. Here comes Grant again. They are not going to give each other this win. They both want it really bad. Grant's been sitting there leading a little bit. Robert's been leading a little bit more. I mean, this is great. Robert's got the championship lead right now going into this, and looks like Grant wants to get us extra bonus points, not just for leading the lap, but remember, if you win the race, you get 3 extra bonus points. So. And like we said earlier on this thing at the start of this race, Grant was 4 back. Now we know Robert's led lap. He's probably led the most laps, so that's 2 extra bonus points right there. But they're gonna basically be really tight. And Dante was 4th coming into this event too. So I would imagine that Grant and Dante are going to move up, and they're probably the top 3 in the points after this race. And it's going to be really close between these 3 Carlos.
It's going to be down to them because Jim Glaude is way out of contention in this one. I'm going to try and find him on the racetrack. He is 8th place right now. Trying to catch Ronald Lucier and some other guys. Just to give some calls as we close in on 10 to go. Good run tonight for Andre Manguion. Up in 4th. In this points race, he was way back in 16th. So this will be a good points night for him to move up and get some good spots. Maybe possibly a top 10 in points. So he gets the wall, actually, off of turn number 4. So the tire's starting to go off. So there's any hope of him trying to run down our top 3. Grant Wesley starting to try and distance himself from the 18 and the 84.
And we've seen that when you distance yourself, it's not going to be much of an effect. They're going to be running you right back down if they manage to say a single file like that. And that's all it's going to take is just one little slip by Grant, and Robert's going to be right back at him. And we got, like you said, we're around 10 laps now. So, and we were talking about tomorrow, Carlos. That's the last race tomorrow night that's going to be broadcasted here on FRN for this RTG Super Speedway race tomorrow night, and it's going to be really, really hectic. Them all wanting to go all out, and the points are so tight as it is with the top 3. I mean, if you take Jim Glaude and remove him from the call based on Dante, Grant, and where Robert is currently running at this moment, that's going to say a lot here going into that final race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be... Oh, boy, I think you and Anthony are going to have a lot of fun tomorrow night whenever those guys get out there for just last race. That's coming at RTR Speedway. As the Grant Wesley machine continues to try and get away from the 18 and 84. The 18 and the 84 staying single file, so staying within striking distance of that 88. It's going to get interesting as we are now at 7 laps to go. Could Robert be saving?
I do want to point out that I'm with Richard Martin right now, riding on board with him, and he is clutching going to the corners now. So he's going to be really close on fuel of making it the rest of the way, and he's back in 13th right now. So we might have a couple people might not be able to make it all the way, Carlos, but we know for a fact that these top 3, they can make it all the way.
Yeah, they should be able to make it. Here comes the 18. He's starting to close that gap. That gap now down to about 3 truck lengths. There we go. 6 to go on the board right now. Here comes that 18 trying to run back down. They had 88 Menard Chevy, a Chevy, Toyota, Ford as they run here at the top 3.
The fastest truck outside of the top 3 currently right now would be Chris Elliott. He's labeled 11th, and he's running right behind the 5th place vehicle of Chuck McClure. But like we said, he's off pace, so he's not really going to be a threat at this moment. McClure, he's another guy who deserves to have props given to him. He's been up in the top 5 and around the top group all day. He's fallen back, come back and forth, pit early, lost a lot of ground, but he's been right there in the top 5 all evening pretty much. So good props to him.
5 to go. Grant Wesley still trying to distance himself from the 18. That time by Grant Wesley ran a 33.38. Balcom ran a 33.30. Ricky ran a 33.33. So they are all really close, but now Wesley's starting to gap the 18 and the 84 once again.
Dante's right there on the quarter panel with Robert. You need to be really careful here. Bumper grab can happen, and I've seen Dante twitch and move a little bit, so trying to give a little bit of room to that 18.
Grant Wesley that time ran about a 1/10 and a half.
Oh,
quicker.
there goes
Here comes the
Dante for
84.
second. Dante is not going to waste any time. He's going.
He realizes now that probably the 18 has lost, pretty much used all his stuff. The longer they stay side by side, that's going to benefit the 88. Whoa! Just getting in front of the 18 of Buckham to take the second spot away. The highest Ricky has been tonight. Now, does the 84 have enough time to run down the 88?
Buckham gave him a little shot in the front straightaway, so that's going to give him a little bit of that speed boost here. And he's got the draft of the 88. He's got Buckham right behind him. I don't know. We got only a few laps left. I mean, Dante could pull up. He's able to run a little bit lower line here. He's running lower than what Grant is, a little bit higher up off to get that run off the exit. So I don't know. I don't think this is quite over yet. What do you think, Carlos?
2 laps to go. Dante Ricci in pursuit of the 88 of Grant Wesley. This would be big for Wesley because that would be wins for Bockham, Ricci, and Wesley, and that would set up for that final race tomorrow night at RTR. So that could be really, really interesting with all 3 of them having wins, and then basically whoever wins next week would be the champion if it's any of these top 3. As they come to the line, white flag in the air, 1 lap to go here on the Flatout Racing Network. Grant Wesley ahead of the 84 of Ricci by 5 car lengths.
Yeah, Balcom's backed off. I think we were talking about earlier how he used all his stuff up. I think he's used it all up. It looks like Dante just can't get to the back of Grant. He gets a good entry in, but Grant gets that middle to exit off. It looks like Grant's gonna hold serve here.
The 88 comes through 3 and 4. The 84, 6, 7 truck lengths behind. The 88 of Grant Wesley will take the win here tonight at RTG Motor Speedway. He gets his first win here in the RTG Team Crowd Paint Shop mini-series.
And this is going to be a really good night, not just for Robert, obviously, but like you said, Grant wins the race. It's going to put him up there where Robert is in points as well, because Robert got third tonight instead of the second. So it's going to be tightened up big time here. It looks like Andre's going to come around in fourth, and Gretsch is going to be Chuck McClure, Carlos.
Yeah, they're having a little bit of fun here towards the end of this thing. Grant Wesley's going to come down here and he'll celebrate down in the grass, or no, he'll come to the pits. He'll be modest as he's going to wheel his way around here, drive his way through some fake ambulances and fire trucks, and he'll bring it down into victory lane here. What a win for that 88 of Grant Wesley.
That was a great race. They managed to be respectful, give room. The whole race, Carlos. I mean, we had 1 caution that was a debris caution, but I mean, notwithstanding, it was a great long battle the whole race. We saw Knopsker up near the front, we saw Andre near the front, we saw Grant, Robert, and we saw Dante get a run at the end. Jim Glaude tried to put up a fight. Dave Nelson did. So it wasn't completely a bore fest. It was pretty much a well-managed race. We saw a whole bunch of competitors up near the front. They would fade back. Sometimes they would get back up to the front. So it was really good technical racing all around.
You see Grant Wesley putting some donuts in that victory lane here at RTG Motor Speedway. Good run for him. Second place tonight for the 84. Dante Ricci, a good rebound for him after starting towards the back. And then Robert Bockham, who really dominated the majority of this race, just did not have the long run stuff. He ends up third tonight. I believe Andre, he ended up fourth, so a good run for him. That'll be a good point stay for him. And then I believe coming out fifth would be the 17 of Chuck McClure.
Yep, and sixth, Dave Nelson in sixth. Nice run. We really didn't talk much about him. He was up near the front most of this beginning part of the race, and then he faded back, but he still comes on close to the top 5. Ron Louisier, he stayed on the lead lap, finishing 7th. Jim Glaude, unfortunately, fell back to 8th. Tim Knopsker, last car on the lead lap. We saw him get the pole, go up near the front, lead quite a bit early on, then fall back, and then back up, back and forth, and then one little slip, and out there in the front leading, using up all that tire, and fell all the way to the back and wasn't ever able to capitalize. But he'll have another shot to win tomorrow night whenever we go back racing. I think it'll be around 9 o'clock, same time, I believe, tomorrow night.
As we welcome you now to the Flatout Racing Network post-race wind down here again. Grant Wesley, your winner here tonight at RTG Motor Speedway. You'll get to hear from him, Dante Ricci, and Robert Bauckham here. So we'll get set for those interviews shortly. I believe they're in a post-race drivers meeting.
They're good right now, regardless. They're good. You want to go ahead and get an interview number 3 of Robert Bauckham up here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and bring him in. Robert Bauckham, this is Carlos Zimmerman and Jessica Shelton in the FRN booth. You got us?
Oh yeah, 10-4.
And you arguably had I think you led the most laps tonight, if I'm not mistaken, despite Grant Wesley being a thorn in your side tonight. You had a really good short run car, but I guess the long run just wasn't there for you tonight.
No, I messed up. I had to go and reboot my internet after qualifying, and I was in such a hurry when I got back in. I forgot to change my steering ratio, so that pretty much killed me there.
Robert, you finished third. And in all honesty, even though you got the third place finish, even though you probably wanted some more with that, I mean, tell us how good was your truck? Because you were up near the front quite a bit. Then we saw Tim come up and get the lead, then fall back, and then we saw Grant eventually get you, and then Dante get you. But you were up front for the most of this race. I mean, how was your tire wear? Were you very comfortable running the way you were? I mean, you would fall back at the beginning of the run, you would fall back, and then all of a sudden you would randomly come out of nowhere and you would run them down.
Yeah, I mean that's usually what I do. I don't worry about who I'm racing or the track or nothing like that. I'm just trying to watch my tires, but without that steering ratio change, it pretty much I couldn't keep it like I usually do on the long run. It's my fault. Like I said, I went out, changed the internet, was in a hurry, and just didn't think about it. And I'm used to running 32-1 ratio at every track, and I think it was set at like 22, 24, something like that. It just wasn't what I was used to. But good job to Grant and Dante. They did a good job.
But still, you had a good run, third place, and remember, you came in leading the mini series points here, and with that third place finish, I mean, Grant's probably going to jump close to you, and you're probably still going to probably pull away with this with the lead, given the fact that you led laps and probably the most laps as well. And I mean, I got to ask you, tomorrow night, the big night for the little mini series championship that we got going on, it's going to be tight. I'd imagine it's going to be Robert, Grant, and Dante. I think all three of you are going to be up there.
Oh yeah, it'd be a good race. Yeah, I kind of got a bad deal last night. You know, I don't ever run super speedways, and I decided to push Dante to the win there. And coming in out of the last corner, me and Grant kind of got close to each other, and I guess the air bubble or whatever, because there was definitely space in between our trucks, but the air bubble knocked him up, so it counted a caution on me. So I ended up having to go to the end longest line, so that kind of hurt. I think I lost like 10 or 12 points because of that, but it is what it is. It's just for fun. I enjoy it. I mean, I don't really care about the championships or the wins. I like to just get out here and have fun and run good racing, get the kind of racing I give out, get back to me. That's all I can ask for.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I have to concur with you on that one. A good run for you tonight. Third place, definitely. I'm sure you led the most laps, so should be a good points day for you tonight. Just again, a good run, Robert. Before I let you go this evening, anybody want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I definitely want to give a shout out to TK's Paintshop. They're putting this thing on. Terry Bombard and Mitch. I mean, these guys, they didn't have to do this for us. They stepped up and did this to give us drivers something to do. So that just shows you what kind of drivers, and respect we all have for each other here. So I bow down to them for doing that. I mean, that's just big for them. And of course, I enjoy y'all coming over. Flatout. I mean, y'all just do an amazing job. I listen to it while I'm racing, so it keeps my mind off the race. And I want to give a shout out to Grant. Great job. Dante. Great job. Dante on his win last night. And then I definitely want to send out best wishes and hope he gets better. Still to Tony Fox, who's at home. And then my wife, she's starting hopefully get better from her cancer. And my daughter and my niece Peyton, they're both watching downstairs, so I appreciate them cheering me on.
Alrighty, Robert Bauckham, a third place run tonight from RTG Motor Speedway. Best of luck to you as at RTR next week.
I appreciate it, guys.
Or tomorrow, excuse me.
Oh yeah, tomorrow, yeah.
We'll now talk to our. Oh, you wanted to say something?
I don't know. I was waiting for you to let me get Dante in here.
Yeah, let's get ahead. Go ahead and get Dante Ricci in here, our second place finisher. Dante, this is Carlos Zimmerman and Jessica Shelton in the FRN booth. You got us?
Oh yeah, loud and clear.
Man, you gave it your best shot. I'll just go on the record and say that to try and run down the 88. You were towards the back of the top 10 for a lot of tonight, and then the second half of the race, you just came to life. Just give me your thoughts.
Yeah, Carlos, I knew that at the beginning, not having had much practice time with the 84 Overcome truck tonight, that we had about 15, 16 cars in the field. And normally when we have a 30 car field at this track on Wednesday night, the lead draft is about 15 or 16 cars. So my concern was more or less to be in the top 10 at the first pit stop, and luckily we caught that caution. And by keeping myself near the 10th position before green flag pit stops initially began, I think it was around lap number 68 where we had our first green flag pit stop. I knew I had a shot to get in and out of there and be in contention to possibly win the race. And it was a lot of fun to be able to race with Robert tonight and Grant. Both of them had really fast cars, and I'll tell you what, it was just a pleasure to be able to race with both of those guys. I had pretty much we get down to that last 20 laps, there's only the three of us. Usually the third place car doesn't have a whole lot he can do because I can try to battle with Robert or Grant. Once Grant took the lead, I followed Robert for a little bit. Also, I knew I had a lap fresher tires, but you can't catch him when you're side by side, and any move you make to pass anybody hurts your chance to get the lead. So it was a tough decision when it finally was time to make a move, but that was a good shot. This, believe it or not, to date is my fourth straight second place finish at RTG Motor Speedway, and still waiting to get a win at this racetrack. But I'll tell you what, it's one of my favorites. And big thanks to all of the admins here at RTG, Terry Bauman for making this racetrack, David Cannon for putting the show on, and Mitch and Terry Bombard for this whole promotional event. It is a lot of fun, and we got one more race tomorrow night. Really looking forward to it.
Dante, Dante, Dante. You're coming closer and closer and closer for us to actually interview you when you actually get a win, and I'm looking forward to when that time comes. And I'm hoping that we're actually doing the broadcast when you finally get one. But I'm really curious. We saw pit stops, and remember, you and I were talking about that before the race started. How slick and slippery that pit road was. I mean, how bad was it tonight? Because it seemed like a lot of people went down there, and we had one incident. I think it was I believe it might have been, yeah, I believe it was Terry. Terry got off of turn 4 and slammed really hard in that pit wall, and that was the only
Oh
incident
yeah.
I thought I saw. But like, how bad was it for everyone else, and how bad were you going in and coming out?
Very slick, very treacherous. You really have to change up your whole pitting game at this racetrack and get on that brake pretty much as soon as you start to turn in for turn 3. I tap the brake a little bit, and the apron opens up a little bit. There's some grass at turn 3, but it becomes all pavement on the apron in turn 4. Once I get to that paved part of the racetrack, I'm pretty much completely off the gas, but also pumping the gas down and up a little bit with a foot on the brake. And the whole idea is not really a trail brake. You've got to keep a little bit of balance in the car. And if you lift off the gas pedal completely, there's just no grip down there by the cones at pit entry, and very easy for your car to slide. At the same time, if you're too dependent on that brake to slow the car down, you might be up by the barrel. And yes, Terry Bombard had a very unfortunate incident where it cost him a chance to win the race today. And I also heard there were a few other people had trouble. It was treacherous to get onto that pit entrance, and it was a lot harder than it looked. But you just have to expect these things. You have to prepare. You know, anticipate. You know what's going to happen. Start to turn the wheel and hit the brake before you get in the situation. It really impacted the hot pitting game. We didn't really get a chance to take advantage of any hot pitting today at that line.
Very, very technical racing all around, not just on the track and managing tires, but also technical coming in that pit road, it would seem like, Carlos.
Yeah, no, that's again, that was an unfortunate thing for Terry. That kind of came out of nowhere too when he made that mistake. Unfortunate for him, but something I've never really seen at this track. I know this is my first race calling for RTG, but I know it runs a lot like the original Las Vegas configuration. So I've seen that track time and time again. So yeah, no, Dante, that was an incredible run for you. I know you won Daytona last night and then ran well in the first race that was won by Bockham. So I'm going to ask you one final question. You basically already gave your shout out, so I don't need to ask that. What is your mindset going to RTR Super Speedway tomorrow?
Well, looking at the unofficial points things, I've got a 7 point gap off of a chance to win the championship. And right now, unofficially, it looks like Grant and Robert are tied at the top spot. And, a 7 point differential, I would pretty much have to win the race tomorrow night. And, we go from there. Whatever happens, happens. It's just been an amazing time here. And, it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, the mistake that I made at MNT on Monday night, very costly because there was a good chance I was going to get a top 5 finish, and I ended up hitting the wall and, messing things up there. But, that is what it is. You move on from that stuff. Things happen, and we'll try it again tomorrow night and see what we can do. Remember, the last time we raced at that RTR Super Speedway track, it was on Wednesday night in July in our Aero 88 series, and somebody won that race. I think it might have been the guy you're talking to right now. So it's a fun racetrack, one of my favorites.
So it's the guy we're talking to. So Carlos, I didn't know you won that, but good job.
Uh-huh. Anyway, yeah, Dante, a good run for you tonight. Second place finish for you. We got one more man to talk to, so I'll let you go about your evening. Have a good one, and again, congrats on a second place run.
Thanks, Carlos. Thanks, Jessica. Great job in the booth tonight. Thank you so much.
And we will now talk to our winner here tonight from RTG, Grant Wesley.
Grant, can we not interview you like when it's a race? Can we not interview you or Robert? Can you let someone else win, please?
Yeah, that's fine. All right, I'll just leave.
Oh, Grant, man, clearly you got us. Man, what a great run for you tonight. You made those passes on Robert and then you made those passes really well, and then you were able to hold off Ricky there at the end. Really, you had one of the 3 dominant cars tonight. Just give me your thoughts on how the car ran tonight and how you were able to keep it up front.
Yeah, first off, kudos to Terry Bauman for building this track, man. This track's one of my favorite. I've always ran really well here. It's always provided really good racing, and I just like it because you can set guys up and put on a good show. And definitely thanks to Robert Bockham for racing McLean. He always does. We always put on a good show, and Dante had a great run. But yeah, I didn't qualify real good. I qualified like 11th. Kind of had a bad lap there, and I got to the front there pretty quick. And I was wanting to lead the most laps because I'm kind of doing this point steal a little bit. I'm like second or third in points, I think.
Well, officially right now you are tied for the lead, Grant.
Oh, nice. So yeah, I was trying to lead the most laps because I knew it was going to be close coming out of here into the final race. So that's why I was really a thorn in Robert's behind. But yeah, after about halfway, I figured, it wasn't really worth racing them that hard that early. So, we kind of all got in line there. We had some good pit stops, green flag pit stops. And me and Dante, we worked together great. We'd stay out an extra lap. We'd enter pit road the same and exit together. And then we catch up to Robert and we'd all just draft really well. And then we were able to get that breakaway there for the end. And yeah, it all worked out.
I really would like to hear from you how it felt swapping the lead back and forth, side by side, lap after lap, whether you're on the high side or the bottom. And it seems like you would get a run, then all of a sudden Robert's right there battling you for that position. And instead of just letting you go by and just saving some tires to get back up at you, you guys were just side by side for a lap after lap. Then all of a sudden you switch spots. Like how was it knowing that you had someone that you can trust, race respectfully around you, and that you would respect him as much? I mean, how does that feel coming into this, having someone like that?
Oh, it feels awesome. It feels great. I love racing with all these guys here at RTG. I mean, 90% of them you can race that way. But yeah, Robert, me and Robert's always raced really hard, and he's always been one of the cleanest drivers I've raced with. And yeah, I really enjoy every time we get to go head to head like that.
Well, Oh, Jesse, had any final thoughts for him?
Well, I wanted to ask Grant, what's your strategy going in tomorrow? Are you actually going to try to push it, or are you just going to just wait? Because I've never been at that super speedway. I've raced a lot of plate tracks around, and I've never been to that one. So I'm just curious what your thought process is going into that. Is it going to be like normal Vegas challenges where you start at the back and just slowly come to the front, just mind your P's and Q's, or are you actually going to try to go out there and get the pole?
I'm going to try to land on the pole and lead every lap. That's my strategy. But no, that's another great track, another one Terry made. He always puts on a good show also. But yeah, that's I guess we're tied going into the final race. You can't ask for much more than that. And yeah, I'm going to try to put it up front and keep it up front.
Carlos, anything else?
Nah, I got nothing else for him. Grant, before I let you go this evening, or before we let you go this evening, excuse me, anybody want to give a shout out to for your first place run tonight?
Yeah, thanks to TK Paintshop for sponsoring this mini series, and thanks to Mitch and Terry Bombard. They also do a winter series there called the Amish Survivor Series, and I run it every year, and it's a lot of fun. It's kind of a crash 'em up thing, but it's a little bit different. We're racing heads up. This is kind of cool. I'd like to thank the owners Terry, Sean, and Dave, and yeah, that's it.
Alrighty, Grant Wesley, a great run tonight at the RTG Motor Speedway. Best of luck to you tomorrow night at RTR. Should be a fun one to watch. I'm sure Jess and Anthony McCurry, they'll be fun to call it for you. Again, a good run for you tonight.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, Grant. I mean, I don't have a lot of money, but I might be able to bribe a few people to make sure you don't win tomorrow night.
Just don't pick me to win tomorrow night. I don't want that jinx.
Okay, I'll remember that. That's what we need to do is we need to pick you. I mean, one of us can pick you, the other person will pick Robert, and then we'll see Dante win, right?
Yeah, probably.
Alrighty, that should about wrap things up for us this evening. Jess, give me your final thoughts on this. Just a good race tonight.
Yeah, it was great. Only one caution for debris. I mean, we saw lead changes back and forth. We saw clean pit stops. A few of them got a little bit rambunctious. We saw a differential pit strategy the whole race, Carlos. We had people come in early, and so we went through the full fuel run. We saw people short pit back and forth. We saw Chris Elliott, who we thought might be able to get close to making it all the way. He couldn't do it. We saw Richard Martin try to stretch it out, and then he was clutch at the end. Just couldn't do it. It turns out, like at the very end, it was Dante finishing second, Robert Balcom, who was your point leader coming in, finishing third, and once again Grant Wesley winning the race overall, setting it up for a really, really great battle for tomorrow night with those top three.
Again, that race coming to you tomorrow night here on the Flatout Racing Network. Same time, same great channel here on the YouTube page of FRN. Jessica Shelton, Anthony McCurry, they're going to be on the call for
and
that.
also, I do want to pitch this fact out here that on Monday we will also be doing the All-Star. I believe we're doing the All-Star Open. We're doing broadcasting on that, and then the All-Star race itself will be Thursday next week, I believe.
Yeah, and that'll be a fun one too. Also brought to you here on the Flatout Racing Network. I am back in the booth after an off day tomorrow. On Saturday night, Chris Cup Series race at I completely forgot where it was. I've taken a couple of weeks off just to get set for school. So that'll be brought to you, and then myself and Logan Breakey will be on the call for that one, that Chris Cup Series race, and then the TechHub.tv Cup Series. Their season winding down as well. They'll be on Sunday night here on this channel, the Flatout Racing Network. Myself and Warren Keith will be on the call for that one. That's going to wrap things up here on our little bit of a doubleheader, as I believe Fuel has wrapped up as well. Jessica, thanks for jumping on board with me tonight in my little bit of a return to FRN.
Yep, nothing like being with you. It's always fun. Plus, unfortunately, I don't know if you're going to be broadcasting with me next week during the All-Star race weekend, and the race week, I mean. But hopefully you might be able to pop in and help me out. But if not, I mean, I got no problem with McCurry. I just hope I don't have to listen to the old senile old man named Seth Cole.
Oh,
After all, he just did celebrate his 29th birthday, and he's getting
He
up there in age, so it's out there. Deal with it, Seth.
so yes, happy belated birthday to our one of our operations and programming managers
Oh,
here.
before we go, I would like to say congratulations to the Cannon family. I do believe they've added another. David's become we got another grandchild, and congratulations to him with having a great family extension, even more.
Absolutely. Good congratulations to them. Just want to give a thanks to, as I aforementioned, Seth Cole, one of our operations and programming managers, Matthew Rodriguez, who puts this whole thing together here at FRN, and to just all our broadcasters here at the Flatout Racing Network.
And definitely we also need to say thanks to the Bombards for putting this on and letting us be able to broadcast this event that's going on with the final two races. We really do appreciate that.
Absolutely. A big thank you to them as well. That'll wrap things up for us from the RTG Motor Speedway in Detroit, Michigan. For Jessica Shelton, my name's Carlos Zimmerman. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night for FTR action, the last race of this series, the Rolling Thunder Gaming Team Crowd Paintshop Mini Series. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe out there. And we will see you next time here on the Flatout Racing Network. Good night from Detroit, Michigan.